This is Hayes Q Jones, your DVD and Blu-ray baller on a budget, and this is HQ Videos for you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're a current subscriber, what's up? I greatly appreciate it. Come on in, make yourself at home. You greatly appreciate it. You know the routine. This week's video, my collection video, is a little different. It's going to be somewhat of a challenge video. And what you're looking at right now is one of 3 binders I have of 3D movies. I have over 600 3D movies. In contrast, I only have about 100 4K movies. And the purpose of this video is to demonstrate, in my opinion, how the 3D format is superior to the 4K format and the wow factor. And when I mean wow factor, I'll go a little bit more detail later on in the video on what I consider the wow factor. And this is not a diss or being adversarial to my 4K collectors out there. Again, 4K is a beautiful format, looks great, sounds great. However, it just never gave me that wow factor. It gave me that it's a beautiful picture, sounds great, but it never made me overwhelmed. It just blew my hair back like 3D Blu-ray did. And in my opinion, I'm going to choose 4 movies, in my opinion, that will blow away any 4K disc in the industry. And for example, if we were to have an unbiased viewer and you take the best 4K movie in the industry, or best 4K disc in the industry, and compare it to these 4 3D Blu-ray movies that I'm about to show to you, in my opinion, the unbiased viewer will pick the 3D movie every time. So without further ado, sit back, relax, have a drink, have a smoke, and I'll catch you on the other end of this video. Before I jump into my 4 3D picks, which I'll pit against any 4K disc in the industry, let me level set and take you on a journey on my video, audio, physical media journey. This right here, this was, I think, back in the 70s. This back there was considered close to a big screen TV. So this is not the first TV that I started out with though, but this, again, probably about a maybe 25 inch TV that was considered average, above average for the time. My first TV I ever had was something similar to this. However, my first TV was black and white. So when I got a color TV, that was like, wow, big deal. But the average TV screen was a little bit smaller than this. The audio would usually come out somewhere at the bottom. With this, you have the audio on the side. So if I were to rate the beginning of my video experience on a scale from 0 to 10, mine would probably be around a 2 or a 3. I started out with basically color TV. My mom would be a 0 since she grew up, well, she was born in the mid 40s. So she grew up in Mississippi, beginning with no electricity, and only kind of entertainment, technical entertainment, was the radio. So when the black and white TV came out, that was a wow jump from radio to television. So in my opinion, that's a wow movement. From black and white to color, that's another wow moment, to see grays and blacks transformed into bright reds, blues, yellows, inky blacks. That's a wow moment. Another wow moment in my lifetime when vinyl used to come like this. These are like 45s, matured into 8 tracks. Even though the sound quality didn't follow, it allowed you portability. My dad actually had an 8-track tape deck in his car. So instead of having to listen to the radio, you can actually carry your music with you. That was a wow moment. A wow moment. When music moved from 8-track to cassette tapes, visibly much smaller. And you can see this is the old school carrying case. It's a flip one. There's actually movies on the other back. That was a wow moment. It was like, okay, you can carry all your music collection or a good part of your music collection with you when you go. That was a wow moment, or a wow moment for me in music. When cassettes matured into compact disc, where the sound quality was head and shoulders above what cassette tapes and 8-tracks did. It's almost and arguably just as good as vinyl. Those are wow moments for me. Now, if you grew up in a time where VHS had already existed, I would say on a scale from 0 to 10, as far as where you fall in the technical scale for physical media, you probably fall somewhere between the 4 and the 5. The reason why I say that is you probably don't know what it's like to watch TV without cable, or if you do, you might not remember the rabbit ears, so you're not necessarily getting the best picture quality depending on the reception that you get. With VHS was again a wow moment because you had the ability to watch movies at home without going to the theater, without waiting for it to be on the ABC movie of the night or NBC Friday night movie. You actually had the ability to pop it in whenever you wanted to. That's a wow moment. When VHS matured into Laserdisc, you had another layer of quality. You had a clearer picture. You had better sound quality. I'll compare that to having a cassette tape and then moving to a CD as far as the sound quality. Same with the video. There were more pixels. The picture was a little bit clearer than what from VHS. So from Laserdisc, as you can see, these things are massive. The size of like a vinyl LP. And that's what it looks like, very shiny, just like a big CD. That was a wow moment that jumped from VHS to Laserdisc. From Laserdisc to DVD, another wow moment. You have arguably better video quality, better audio quality, and a smaller disc. And with these, which is kind of annoying, if you didn't have a Laserdisc player that could automatically reverse, halfway through the movie, you'd have to flip the disc. With these regular DVDs, you don't have to worry about that. Again, that's a wow moment. So this is how I'm comparing 3D into 4K. When 4K first came out, it came out after 3D. I'm expecting, okay, if 3D is wow, 4K must be super wow. And 4K was just okay. When you see it, the best 4K I can say, and I will say the best 4K I will see will be like at Best Buy in their video audio rooms. That would be the best 4K probably at the time. And one comment I would think to myself is like, this is a beautiful picture. It almost looks so live, you can touch it, almost looks like it's 3D. But it wasn't 3D. So with the 4K, you're getting a better picture, slightly better sound, but it didn't make that huge leap like all these other formats that I showed you. So let me show you the 4 movies I think, in my opinion, can stand up against the best 4Ks in the industry. My first pick is the first 3D movie. Well, first of all, this has a very special place in my heart because I remember this being one of the first movies that my wife and I watched by ourselves after my son was born. So, and this is the first 3D movie, first 3D movie I remember seeing in the theaters. I remember watching Creature of the Black Lagoon on television, getting the red and blue glasses at 7-Eleven and watching 3D that way. But this was the first one I actually saw in the theater in such a huge scale, done to the level it was. And this is the first 3D movie that I actually purchased for my 3D collection. But this is Avatar, the action adventure fantasy science fiction film that came out in 2009. This was directed and written by James Cameron, produced by Brooke Breton, starring Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver, Stephen Lang, Michelle Rodriguez, Giovanni Ribisi, Joel David Moore, CCH Pounder. The plot behind this: in the 22nd century, a paraplegic Marine is dispatched to the moon, Pandora, on a unique mission, but becomes torn between following orders and protecting alien civilization. And this, without a doubt, was the first wow factor for me. There's a scene where Sam Worthington is coming out of the sleep chamber and they're floating around in space, and you see these water bubbles literally drift off the screen, and I'm watching people in the audience like try to grab it. It seemed that real at the time. I've never seen an audience that engaged to the point where they're just like they're reaching for something that's not there. To me, that's a wow factor as far as movie goes, and I'll put Avatar 3D, especially this one or the sequel, next to any 4K as far as that wow factor, and see which unbiased watcher would choose. I dare to say it will be Avatar every time. And this is also a 20th Century Fox release. First pick, Avatar. My next pick is 1983 adventure fantasy Treasure of the Four Crowns. It's directed by Ferdinando Baldi, produced by Tony Anthony. He has 2 first names, Tony Anthony. Written by Lloyd Battista. This stars Tony Anthony, Anna Obregon, Quinn Quintano, Jerry Lazarus, Francisco Rabal. The plot behind this: a group of adventurers are gathered together to retrieve some mystical gems which are in the possession of a deadly cult. Now, was this a great movie? No, but the 3D was off the hook. And when I mean off the hook, they made this with 3D in mind. There are things being thrown at you, people just doing crazy 3D stuff to engage you in the movie. And Kino Lorber does an excellent job with a 3D film archive of getting the original, 35mm film, both the right lens and the left lens, and putting them together, restoring the film, and just making it look beautiful. And again, not a great story though, but you're in the movie literally moving your head, bobbing your head from things, trying to dodge things coming at you. That is a wow factor. That's getting you engaged in the movie. So my next pick, my number 2 pick, and they're in any particular order. Again, I'll put these up against any 4K. Treasure of the Four Crowns, Kino Lorber. My next one is the Best of 3D, a 2012 documentary special interest film, or disc. This is the Best of 3D features 15 individual films ranging from 4 to 30 minutes and totaling 190 minutes. 13 independent film crews and production companies have created their content in South Africa, Namibia, Thailand, Australia, Germany, Switzerland, the US, UK, Italy, India, Brazil, Poland, Spain, Ukraine, and Easter Islands. Some of these films feature cutting-edge technology, such as capturing images at 2,000 frames per second or under extreme conditions like underwater or while skydiving. The compilation includes the complete wildlife documentary Alligator Kingdom by Emmy. And again, these videos were done with intention. And this was like kind of a music video, and you can see the rain coming down and the rain's coming off your screen. And when 3D done perfectly, you have the audio either 5.1, 7.1. So as you're hearing raindrops on the right part of the screen, you're hearing the audio on the right side, on the right side of your stereo. It's encompassing, it's engaging, and it puts you in the movie. It's no longer a movie. You're no longer a spectator. You're kind of part of the movie. So, and this is a series of 3D movies. This is volume 1. I believe there's up to 12 different volumes. I think I have all of them though, but beautiful 3D, different scenarios, underwater, skydiving, music video, all looks beautiful. Again, put this against your best 4K, best of 3D. Lastly, we have the animation music 3D disc, Lichmon 3D Moonlight. This is directed by Diego M. Bonatti, produced and produced by Giorgio Cofili. Brother George and Martin, Avenue Music, the authors are popular among fans in the multi-channel music, and not just a series of Ambra represent a new project, Lichmon Moonlight. The visual part is the animation Spanish cartoonist Diego M. Bonatti, Studio Image D, Fantastic Worlds creating specifically for Lichmon. And this is the creme de la creme of 3D movies. This has an audio which reminds me of a German group called Kraftwerk. If you're familiar with hip hop, you probably know a little bit about Kraftwerk. It's that type of music. The video reminds me of those computer generated videos like Beyond the Mind's Eye, but this one's in 3D. And I just popped this in the other day. This not only has pop-outs, has depth, it has something I'm gonna call come from behind. There's a scene where you're watching it, and on your left 3D glass, you're seeing something that appears to come from behind and into the front of the scene. And you're hearing that audio coming from the rear left channel or the side channel, and you're physically turning your head to see what the hell is going on. This kind of movie transforms you into a spectator to you're actually part of the movie. Your monitor, your TV screen turns into a window, and you're there, you're in the scene, you're in the movie. That, to me, is what makes 3D superior to 4K. Again, 4K, beautiful visuals, crisp audios, but the leap from 3D or the leap from Blu-ray to 4K, to me, is minimal as opposed to the jump from regular Blu-ray to 3D. To me, it's a whole different ballpark. And I'm seeing companies like Turbine pop out more 3D movies. I'm still seeing 3D movies come out in the theaters. I'm hoping there's going to be a resurgence of new 3D physical media, because I still think it's popular. I still think you can actually get this format back, even though they don't make 3D television anymore. A lot of projectors, 4K projectors, have that 3D ability, and 3D on a projection is just beautiful. Again, that is another element that brings you closer into the movie, and it transforms you from being a spectator to being part of the movie. So this is, again, I'll put this against any 4K, and again, you get an unbiased viewer. I believe they'll pick the 3D every time. And these are my 4 3D picks. Again, my challenge to anyone that can pick a 4K, the best in the industry, that has a better wow factor than these movies, I challenge you to leave it in the comments. And these are just 4 that I picked because they were easily accessible in my collection. There are other 3D movies that are just as good, if not better than these. So again, if you think there's a 4K that can compete with these, please let me know. Now, if you made this far in the video, smash a like, give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, go and subscribe. Other than that, may the best of your past be the worst of your future. Everyone, please be safe. Deuces.